So welcome back everyone. So good evening. Today we would start with the questionnaires of the biomolecules lesson for the class 12 Cbse students. So I have given some of the multiple choice questions which are useful for some of the competitive examinations, including NEET and as well as some other competitive examinations like JEE and KCET for Karnataka students. So make use of that one. So this notes can be downloaded, which is a link provided below. So moving on to the first question, they have given which of the following carbohydrate is not a monosaccharide. Means they are asking which is not a monosaccharide, means which is not a monosaccharide means either it may be a disaccharide or a polysaccharide. You know, glucose is a monosaccharide, fructose is also the same, ribose is also the same. The one which is not a monosaccharide or maybe disaccharide or a polysaccharide, that option would be lactose. Very easiest question. First question, I hope there is no doubt at all. Moving on to the second one, which of the following polysaccharide is a polysaccharide? Means which of the following given options they are a polysaccharide. You know, cellulose, the first option itself will be the 100% right one. Therefore, because we know cellulose is a polysaccharide, whereas sucrose, galactose and maltose, they belong to the class of monosaccharide, disaccharide and oligosaccharide. Therefore, with this second question I will be marking cellulose is an right option. Moving on to the third question, maltose is hydrolyzed in presence of maltase. Here maltose is a sugar, disaccharide and maltase is an enzyme which convert maltose into two molecules of glucose, that is it will give glucose plus glucose only. Therefore option A would have been the right one, whereas option B and C and D doesn't fit to be the right one. Moving on to the next one, they have given the disaccharide present in a milk is a dash. Means they are asking which is a sugar which is present in a milk. The sugar which is present in a milk, you know, it is the best one, lactose. Moving on to the fifth one, which of the following is a ketohexose? Ketohexose means it is a ketone, in the name only is there. Look into this word. Ketohexose means ketone, and also hex means 7 carbon atom, and OSE means it is a sugar. Means any which of the following is containing a ketone group with a 6 carbon atom and it is a sugar, and given options all are sugar only. Therefore the best option among this one is a fructose. Fructose, you know, it is a ketohexose. Fructose and glucose, see, glucose and fructose, they are actually the same one, right? But the molecular formula may be the same, but structural formula definitely differs, because glucose is a glucose is a aldohexose, whereas fructose is a ketohexose. Aldohexose means their aldehyde is a functional group. Ketohexose means here ketone will be the functional group. But now the question given was ketohexose, therefore I have chosen fructose as an answer. Moving on to the sixth question, which of the following has a maximum sweetness? The maximum sweetness that is among the following will be definitely for fructose, because it is directly obtained by the disaccharide and it is present in which is present, it is a monosaccharide which is obtained by the fruit. Therefore that will be always a very sweet. Moving on to the next one, they have given the change in the optical rotation of a freshly prepared solution of glucose with the time is called as. Remember, the change in the optical rotation means D becomes L and L becomes D. This rotation itself is supposed to be called as muta rotation. Remember, muta rotation is nothing but a change in the rotation property or optical rotation of any glucose with respect to time. That's why that mutation is supposed to be called as muta rotation. Moving on to the eighth question, which of the following carbohydrate is most abundantly found in nature? Remember, the most abundantly found in the nature, everyone know that it is a starch, because starch everywhere we find in the plant, we find in the cloth, we find in the cotton, wherever we go, starch is a very essential carbohydrate which is present in nature in an abundant way. Going on to the ninth one, hydrolysis of sugar is also called as, hydrolysis of sugar, conversion of sugar, bigger sugar into small by the addition of water is supposed to be called as hydrolysis. This process is also called as inversion, and the enzyme used is invertase. Very easiest question from your NCERT textbook. Moving on to the 10th one, an example of a disaccharide is dash, means they are asking which is the disaccharide. You know, glucose and ribose, they are monosaccharide, cellulose is a polysaccharide, whereas lactose is a disaccharide. Therefore with this question, 10th one, option D would have been the right one. Moving on to the next question, 11th one, milk sugar is commonly known as. The sugar present in a milk which is already we solved, that is sugar, we call it as lactose. Very easiest 10th and 11th question. Moving on to the 12th one, which of the carbohydrate is an essential constituent of a plant cells? Means which carbohydrate is present in a plant? They are asking plant, all the plant cell, means they are asking which is a fibrous material, sugar material which is present in a plant cell. Everybody know that it is a cellulose which is present in a plant. Moving on to the 13th, alanine is a dash. You know, the word alanine, it is an 100%, it may be the protein or a amino acid which is a constituent of a protein. Therefore, alanine, the looking into the options they have given, it is an enzyme. No, it is not an enzyme. It is a purine base of nucleic acid. We know purine base are ATGC. And alpha amino acid, yes, this may be the right option. But hormone, no, it is not even a hormone, it is an alpha amino acid. Moving on to the next question, very easiest one. The peptide linkage is the dash. Now the peptide linkage, you know already, they are replaced by one hydrogen. It is nothing but a CONH. Therefore, for 14th question, option B would have been the right one. Moving on to the 15th question, they have given protein on complete hydrolysis gives a dash. See, protein on complete hydrolysis will form alpha amino acids because amino acids are the major constituent or a building block of protein. Therefore, we say protein is a polymer whereas amino acid is a monomer. Enzyme belongs to dash. You know, enzymes are nothing but a nitrogenous protein molecules which are responsible for the catalyzing biochemical activities. That is the definition of an enzyme. Therefore, for 16th question, option A would have been the right one. Moving on to the next question, an enzyme which converts proteins into amino acid during digestion is also called as. See, this enzyme which convert and proteins into amino acid during our digestion process, that enzyme we also called as proteinases. Then moving on to the 18th question, these all questions are very simple. On your own, you can even solve these in a 60 questions in a 60 minutes, right? Even not 60 minutes is also not required. Within that, you can easily solve these questions. Moving on to the 18th, which of the following is not an essential amino acid? Means essential and non-essential amino acids are the constituent of your body. Right, essential means which cannot be supplied through diet. You have can be supplied through the diet. Your body cannot be synthesized at that one. Such amino acids are supposed to be called. Then here they have given alanine, leucine, valine, and lysine. The one which is essential is not an essential is supposed to be called as alanine. For 18th question, option A would have been the right one. Moving on to the next question. They have given an example of fibrous protein. The proteins are actually 2 or 3 types. One you call it as a globular protein. Second one is a fibrous protein. Third one you can further you can be classified it as a water soluble this one and water insoluble. They are under the classification of that one. So here and a fibrous protein, they are supposed to be called as the keratin, which is supposed to be called as a fibrous protein. Moving on to the 20th question, protein is a polymer of. Already I told protein is a polymer of amino acid. For 20th question, option C would have been the right one. 21st one, enzymes in the living system. What does they do actually? You know, enzymes, they catalyze many biochemical reactions. Therefore, for 21st question, option C would have been the right one. Moving on to the 22nd, which of the following base is found only in RNA, not in DNA? That everybody, this biological student who have a biology background in their class 11 and class 12 can be easily answer is that base we call it as uracil. Uracil, you know, ATGC, there C is supposed to be replaced by U, that is nothing but a uracil, right? Then moving on to the 23rd, insulin is secreted from, insulin is secreted from islets of Langerhans, which is present in pancreas. Therefore, option B would have been the right for 23rd. Moving on to the 24th, the component of a blood responsible for blood clotting, you know, it is supposed to be called as fibrinogen, which converts that blood during the blood into clotting whenever the injury or something is happened to the blood, that outer tissue or a skin. Then moving on to the 25th, in the nucleic acid, an individual nucleotide is linked to the bond which is linked between the nucleotide and the nucleotide. That bond is supposed to be called as phosphodiester bond. Moving on to the 26th, here an RNA is a dash. You know, the DNA is a double helical, whereas RNA is a single helix. Single helix means it is a straight chain of the amino acids. Then moving on to the 27th, the double helical model of a DNA was given by, you know, very simple question. It was first ever given by James Watson. That is option A. Moving on to the 28th, the chemical change in the DNA molecule that could lead to the synthesis of protein with an altered amino acid sequence. So this is supposed to be called as a mutation. See, sudden change in any genetic code or a genetic sequence is supposed to be called as a mutation only. Then structure of a DNA molecule is dash. Moving on to the 29th question, the structure of DNA molecule is a double helix. That's why we call double helical model of a DNA by Watson Crick. Moving on to the next one, 38th. Here from this one, the vitamin questions will start. The eye disease is caused by the deficiency of vitamin. That deficiency of vitamin is supposed to be called as vitamin A. Very common. 31st, vitamin C is also called as, what is the chemical name of vitamin C? Vitamin C. The vitamin C is also called as ascorbic acid. Then moving on to the 32, iodine deficiency in the diet may causes. Very simple. Iodine deficiency will be causes, that is a symptoms is supposed to be called as what? Goiter. Then moving on to the 33rd question, which of the following contains cobalt? Means which of the following element, that is a component. Vitamin C is supposed to be called as ascorbic acid. It is not, does not contain a cobalt. Hemoglobin will contain iron. Chlorophyll contain magnesium. Vitamin B12, which is also called as cyanocobalamine. In the name only is there cobalt, means it will contain cobalt. Therefore, option D would have been the right for 33rd question. Moving on to the 34th, here we come again. Which is a fat soluble vitamin? We have a water soluble, fat soluble vitamin. They are the class of vitamins. You already know that. For 34th question, vitamin A, which is a fat soluble vitamin. Moving on to the 35th, the deficiency of vitamin D leads to, deficiency of vitamin D, very common disease, is supposed to be called as rickets. Then moving on to the 36th, no more discussion. These are all general questions, memory based. Which of these vitamin is synthesized by sun rays? Sun rays is rich in the vitamin D composition. Then loss of chemical, 37th question, loss of chemical and physical property of a protein due to change in temperature and pH. This is supposed to be called as a denaturation. Here, tertiary structure will be completely reduced to secondary and primary. Primary structure is intact, it cannot be disturbed further. Where there is a loss of biological activity of a protein, this is supposed to be called as what? Denaturation. Which of these, 38th one, very simple, basic level questions these are. Which of these is regarded as an energy currency of the cell? Energy currency of a cell, that it is supposed to be called as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Moving on to the 39th, which of the following is a vitamin? They are giving insulin, which is an hormone. Ascorbic acid is supposed to be called as, already it is called as vitamin C. Then estrone is an hormone. Alanine, it is an amino acid. Therefore, ascorbic acid, vitamin C is an vitamin. Moving on to the 40, some year KCET 2015 question. Which of the following statement is not true for an enzyme? They have given which is a wrong statement. They are polypeptides. Yes, they are true. They are protein molecules, means they must be polypeptide. They are glycosidic linkages. No, they does not contain any glycosidic linkage. Then they are specific. Yes, it is true. They catalyze biochemical reaction. All A, C, D statements are correct, whereas B is a wrong, but it is a correct option. Moving on to the 41st. Which of the following are a monosaccharide? They have given glucose and a maltose, glucose and a sucrose, glucose and a ribose, and none. Glucose, maltose. Glucose is a monosaccharide, but maltose is not. Second option, glucose plus sucrose. Glucose is a monosaccharide, but sucrose is not. But glucose and a ribose both are monosaccharide. They are asking which of the following pair. Therefore, 41st C option would have been the right one. Moving on to the 42nd, cellulose is a polymer of dash. Cellulose is a polymer of glucose. Long chain of a glucose is connected by eliminating H2 molecule. Therefore, we get a cellulose. 43rd question, carbohydrate are stored in the body as a dash. See, very simple. That is carbon. There is a small spelling mistake over here in the D option. So please make a correction. It is stored as a glycogen. That is option D would have been the right. It is stored in a human body in the form of a plant. It is stored as a starch, whereas in the human body it is stored as a glycogen. Very simple again. 44th, one of the essential alpha amino acid is dash. Again, essential is one, lysine. Other three are non-essential amino acids. 45th one, denaturation of a protein leads to loss of its biological activity by dash. Here, loss of biological activity, I told there is a loss in secondary and tertiary structure, whereas primary structure is not altered. Therefore, formation of amino acids is wrong. Loss of primary structure is completely wrong. Loss of both primary and secondary, this is also completely wrong, whereas the loss of both secondary and tertiary structures are lost. Primary structure is retained. Such activity is supposed to be called as denaturation. 46th one, proteins are the polypeptide of dash. It is a polypeptide of alpha amino acid. Very simple. 47th, which of the following is not a fibrous protein? Means they are asking which is not a fibrous. Keratin is a fibrous protein. Myosin, which is present in muscle, is also fibrous. Insulin is an hormone. It is not coming under protein only. Option D, both A and B, these two are fibrous. Therefore, I no problem. I have to choose the C option as a right one. Moving on to the 48th. Which of the following is an example of a globular protein? Globular and fibrous proteins are the types of two proteins. Then glycine is an amino acid. Albumin is a protein. Alanine is a, I think it is also the essential amino acid. So one which is a protein, suppose albumin which is present in a egg is an example of globular protein. 49th one, the helical structure of protein is stabilized by dash. very repeated question in some of the competitive. It is stabilized by hydrogen bond. Means nitrogen of one amino acid is connected by the hydrogen to another amino acid. This bond is supposed to be called as hydrogen bonding. It may be intermolecular or intramolecular, but the structure of the protein will be 100% stabilized. Moving on to the 50, coagulation of protein is also called as dash. You know, the coagulation of blood, coagulation of another amino acids or proteins is also the type of a denaturation. Here, complete biological activity will be lost. You know, solidification of egg white on heating and clotting of a blood and curdling of a milk is also the example of coagulation only or a denaturation only. Moving on to the 50th one, 51st question. Insulin production and its action in the human body are responsible for the level of diabetes. The compound belongs to which of the following category? Means insulin, they belong to which category? You know, I already told insulin, they belong to the category of an harm. Therefore, for 51st question, without any doubt, I will be marking option B as a right one. Moving on to the 52nd, anemia is caused by the deficiency of vitamin dash. You know, very simple. It is caused by the deficiency of vitamin B12. 53rd one, vitamins are required by the body in a dash. See, vitamins, actually you look into the definition. Large quantity of vitamin is also dangerous, right? Not required quantity is also dangerous. They are the micronutrients which are required by the body in a small diet. They are supposed to be called as micro quantity. They are required. Therefore, for 53rd, vitamins are required in the body in a micro quantity. Very, very micro quantity they require. Moving on to the 54, chromosomes are made up of dash. They are made up of proteins and nucleic acid. Therefore, option C would have been the right one. Very simple question. 55, alpha helix is found in a dash. Alpha helix, it is also found in DNA because DNA is supposed to be called as a nucleic acid, and there you have a nitrogenous base, proteins and all. Therefore, alpha helix, which is also commonly found in DNA. With this, we complete 55 questions of the topic called as biomolecules. Very, very easiest topic in the NCERT part. So that I hope this questions, whatever I have solved in this video, will be helpful for you to solve the competitive examinations. This is not even sufficient. You have to solve more and more questions to make perfect in these competitive examinations. But I have tried my level best to convince you people of the 55 questions. Thank you, everyone.